Okay, I want to welcome everybody. We got a big crowd tonight. Thanks a lot. We got a lot going on tonight. So if everybody could please stand, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag and the prayer. Mr. Steppe, would you like to do the prayer, please? Sure.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this glorious day. We thank you for this time. Thank you for blessing this council with wisdom to guide our citizens and our county. May the work that we do be a blessing to you and be a light that you would approve of. We just thank you for being with us day in and day out through all of our decisions, through all of our lives. Bless all those who know that they need you, and more importantly, bless all those who don't know that they need you. And we hope that you enter their hearts as you see fit. In Jesus' most precious and holy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Steppe. Thank you. Okay. All right. Start off with the agenda of April 9th. Is there any additions, deletions, or correction to the agenda, Council?
None at this time.
Okay. Hearing none, the agenda is accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, next on the agenda is the minutes of March 12th. We've had time to take a look at the minutes. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes, Council?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, next on the agenda is the disbursements of April 2nd and April 9th. Any changes, deletions, or corrections to the disbursements?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Hearing none, the chair is accepted as unanimous consent. Okay. Okay. The first thing tonight on the agenda is a proclamation of the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read the proclamation into the record, please?
National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, April 14th through the 20th, 2024. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require law enforcement, fire, or emergency medical services response, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of law enforcement officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel is critical to the protection of life, the preservation of property, and the safety of our emergency services personnel, and is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who communicate with the Talbot County 911 Operations Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services and serve as the single vital link to emergency services personnel by monitoring their activities by radio and providing them with information to help ensure their safety and the safety of those to whom they are responding. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Talbot County 911 Operations Center substantially contribute to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients by exhibiting compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their duties. Now therefore we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby proclaim the week of April 14th through the 20th, 2024 as National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Talbot County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and its citizens safe. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County this 9th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Good job, Madam Secretary. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening. Brian, you want to go ahead and introduce your team?
Sure. So,
Yeah.
So with me is Division Chief Holly Gusky, and I'll let her go through the whole rest of it.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Good evening. I have with me Communication Specialist Rich Williamson, Lieutenant Heather Jones, Sergeant Donna Hadaway, Communication Specialist Mel Whitley, Communication Specialist Josh Willis, and Communication Specialist Haley Belcher.
You're
Actually,
welcome.
Kimball. She just got married.
Oh, good. I got you. That's got you. Congratulations. Good. So, okay, Brian.
Sure. So
Yeah.
just want to thank the council for taking the opportunity to recognize our dedicated first responders. These are the first responders in a long cascade of system that helps our community. So these guys are extremely dedicated to what they do on a daily basis, and arguably have probably one of the most difficult jobs in public safety. They're taking 911 calls from people that are in crisis and trying to decipher what exactly is going on the other end of the phone and what's the best resources to send. So on a daily basis, these guys are doing one heck of a job for our community.
That's
So
good.
I appreciate the opportunity to just recognize them.
Well, we appreciate you too. So, council, Mr. Stepp?
Yeah, the only other thing I just, in regards to the wonderful, wonderful words that are already in here, I just want to remind everyone, it is, you guys are 24/7, 365. It doesn't stop. I mean, you can pick up the phone whenever y'all need you, and you're there. I mean, just for what y'all do and what y'all have to respond to, it takes a strong individual, and appreciate you guys for all that. Really do. Thank you.
You know, by now, I think we've all had an opportunity to hear from time to time recordings of 911 conversations when somebody's in crisis, and so we've had an opportunity to witness the kind of training that you put into practice every single day. So thank you for all you do, and we know that those of you who can be here tonight to be recognized are just representative of the whole, because we know you've got colleagues back there who are monitoring the system right now, and others who are resting up because they've got a night shift coming on. So thank you and your whole team for all that you do.
Thank you for your outstanding service to the citizens of Talbot County. Speaking for them, we're deeply grateful for everything that you do.
I think, as my colleagues have said, you know, we all sit here and know the value of what you do. I'm sure we've all had an opportunity and had to dial 911 at some point in our lives, and knowing that you're on the other end to help save lives gives us great appreciation for what you do. So thank you for your dedication, for your hard work, for those long nights, that night shift, for all that you do for Talbot County. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. As your former emergency director, I'm extremely proud to just say how proud I am of each of these folks here. I've had the opportunity to work with them in some tough situations, and I can tell you the entire public safety response system would not work without them. Fire trucks wouldn't get to fires, police cars wouldn't get to police calls, and paramedics wouldn't get to be able to give help. So thank you for what you do. You're very important. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Yep. And I just want to follow up with all my colleagues and Mr. Stamp too. So in the last, 3 years to 4 years, you've gone over and far and beyond what dedication means. And I can't thank you enough. And you work as a team. You are a team. And I feel like we've got one of the best teams in the state. So thanks a lot for all you do, and I really, really appreciate it, and the citizens appreciate too your dedication. Thank you. So
You're looking for a motion.
Yeah, I am.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
So moved.
Exactly. Okay.
Second.
I got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
There you go. All right. All right, come on up, guys.
And over here, please. 1, 2, and 3. Y'all look amazing.
The Talbot Day one, I'm going to take that picture. Get the Talbot Day one if I'm still outside.
Hey, Sarah.
Okay, next on the agenda is a proclamation of Talbot Day. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read that proclamation to the record, please?
Proclamation, April 25th, 2024, Talbot Day. Whereas Talbot County, Maryland is a county with over 600 expansive miles of beautiful shoreline and is rooted in rich history, culture, and tradition. And whereas Talbot County is comprised of the 5 municipalities of Easton, Oxford, Queen Anne, St. Michaels, and Trout, along with numerous unincorporated towns and villages, including Barnett, Bellevue, Bosman, Bruceville, Claiborne, Copperville, Cordova, Fairbank, Ivytown, Longwoods, McDaniel, Nevitt, Newcomb, Royal Oak, Sherwood, Skipton, Tillman, Tunis Mills, Unionville, Williamsburg, Whitman, and Y Mills. And whereas Talbot County citizens are fortunate for the many years of peace and prosperity given to us by God Almighty. And whereas on April 19, 1983, the County Council of Talbot County unanimously approved a proclamation declaring April 25th to be the official birthday of Talbot County and urged its citizens to recognize and commemorate this day in an appropriate manner. And whereas the County Council desires of recognizing and commemorating the county's official birthday on August 25th each year, issued a proclamation at the council meeting on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023, which declared April 25th as Talbot Day. And whereas to enshrine unity into the fabric of our community, to give thanks for all God's blessings he has bestowed upon our community, and to celebrate the county's beauty, history, culture, and tradition, we, the Talbot County Council, encourage our community leaders, our school community, our arts community, our faith community, our historical community, our business community, and all Talbot County citizens to recognize and commemorate the county's birthday on April 25th, 2024, by joining with the county in the festivities planned for that day. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, Maryland, this 9th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to approve the proclamation and put it in the record. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Stepp,
Take it over.
you take it over. Yep.
So, Council, I'll start with a thanks to you all for approving this. Again, this is a rededication of last year's proclamation for Talbot Day. This is for everyone. This is not for any particular individual. This is not for a particular group. This is for every citizen of Talbot County. We were directed back in '83, as you heard, to celebrate Talbot's birthday, and we finally did that. I guess 40 years later, and with last year's proclamation. So this has truly been a great tradition already in the makings and in the works for future years to come. And I just wanted to make sure we give thanks to all who were involved in creating this and staff for carrying this on and doing all the behind the scenes things that are going to make this a couple Thursdays from now the wonderful day that it's going to be. So thank you.
Thank you. Good. Where's Sarah at? Sarah, want to say anything? There she
She's in
is.
back here.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything, or are you good? Yep.
Come on.
Yep. If you don't mind, maybe going over the agenda, what's going to happen that day?
Yeah, so my name is Sarah Kilman. I am the Public Information Officer for Talbot County. So I am kind of leading the charge with our team over at the County Council office on this wonderful celebration that we're going to have on April 25th. The celebration will be on the courthouse lawn at 5 p.m., weather permitting. If it is raining, we'll switch over to the Avalon Theater. The ceremony is going to be a lot of fun. We're having some musical numbers, a poetry reading, a keynote speaker to speak about Talbot history. And we're also going to be celebrating the Talbot Citizen and Service Awards nominees, as well as the poster contest nominees. And then we will also announce the Citizen of the Year. So it's quite a big undertaking, but we're so excited to have everyone join us. And of course, we'll finish it off with some Talbot County cake and a happy birthday. So it'll be a good night. We would love to have everyone join us. And if you're able to celebrate leading up to Talbot Day, there's a couple things you can do. There's the Talbot Bingo card that is currently at the Easton Visitor Center and the library. It will be at the Easton branch and the St. Michael's branch of the library. You can pick up a card, do 5 items on the card, and then get a prize pack by going back to the library or the visitor center. You can also pick up the trivia sheet that is available, which is 20 questions about Talbot County. There's some really good ones. I won't give them away, but check them out. So, like I said, we're very excited to be celebrating the birthday of Talbot County and would love to have you join us the entire month of April.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Sarah. You've been doing a great job, and we're really proud of you, too.
Sarah, can you
Okay.
tell them how
Yep.
to stay connected to Talbot County in regards to all of our events, including Talbot Day, with our new social
Yes,
media?
Of course. So Talbot County government does have a Facebook page as well as a LinkedIn page. And you can also find all of our news on our website. We have press releases and other articles that will populate on the home page of the website. So that's the best place to go. If you want to learn more about Talbot Day specifically, you can go to talbotcountymd.gov/Talbot Day, and that will link you to all the information I just mentioned.
And I
Okay.
think you have some bingo papers outside of this room.
Yeah, actually, there's some on the table if you want to check it out on your way out.
Okay, good.
Good,
Good.
thank you.
Anything else from council? Good? Okay, thank you, Sarah, appreciate it. Okay. All right, next we got a presentation of certificates for the Talbot Works Business Academy graduates. Cassandra, you want to come on up? Okay.
Good evening,
Good
Council.
evening, good evening.
I brought friends with me tonight.
I see that.
A lot of them.
Yes, exactly.
So, I'm Cassandra Vanhooser. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Tourism for everyone that's here.
Yeah.
And we're here tonight to award certificates of completion and to graduate our first cohort of the Talbot Works Business Academy. Councilwoman Hay first told me about this program in January of 2021, and I looked it up. As she was about to launch this program in Anne Arundel County. So when we had the opportunity to seed this 8-week entrepreneurship training program with Maryland Rural Economic Development Fund monies through the Midshore Regional Council, and Scott Warner is here tonight as well, I leapt at that chance because I thought that this program was something that I had longed for a long time to help our businesses. And you cleared the path for me. You made this possible. You made it possible for me and my team. The whole team is here tonight who worked on this. That's Ryan Snow and Tracy Johns. And we developed a Talbot County version of this program. So we're now the first county on the Eastern Shore to offer this training program to our small businesses. And we've joined Morgan State, Johns Hopkins, the U.S. Small Business Administration, along with Anne Arundel and Charles counties to offer this program for our entrepreneurs. So thank you for investing in the business community. I'm proud of the work that I do for you and for Talbot County each and every day, but I can honestly say that this is one of the most impactful programs I've worked on in the 11 years that I've been here. We've given these entrepreneurs the tools to succeed and grow, and that's good business. I've asked Mr. Will Holmes to join me tonight, and a couple of our students have asked to make a couple of comments. They can tell this story much better than I. So I'm going to ask Mr. Holmes to give a real brief overview, and I've asked them all to be brief because I know you all have a full agenda, but to give a real brief overview of the program and the work we did. You awarded the contract to him in September of last year, and then we've been working with him since. So, Mr. Holmes?
Thank you so much. I'm Will Holmes, the facilitator of the Talbot Works Business Academy. I want to thank you all for allowing us to be here tonight. I truly appreciate the invitation to speak to you. I want to thank Ms. Cassandra Vanhooser for her support. I want to thank Councilwoman Hayth for her leadership and vision. Thank you to all the supporters who I've yet to meet. I'm new to the county, so I'm still meeting people. I want to thank you everyone who's behind the scenes really making it happen. The purpose of the program, it's an 8-week program. It's really designed to have an economic impact on the county. in particular to create jobs and to give opportunities for people who want to grow and expand their businesses. To make this happen, we needed some very brave, very eager people, entrepreneurs, to commit 8 weeks of their time to learn about cash flow projections, to learn about marketing, sales, learn how to access capital, human resources, taxes, and insurance. By learning this information, they understood what they needed to do in order to build a scalable, sustainable business. With that in mind, our expectation is they will use this information to create jobs, increase the tax base, and have an economic impact on the county. So I definitely want to thank all of them, all of the folks in Cohort 1 who worked so hard with me every single week, doing their homework, attending class, doing one-on-ones, and meeting with a law mentor, HR mentor, accounting mentor, and marketing mentor throughout the program to create a growth plan. So when they come out, they know what they're going to do to have a real impact on the county and the citizens of Talbot. So I want to thank you all so much once again for having me, and I look forward to future cohorts and a continued impact on the citizens here of this great region. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank
So
you.
at this time, I'm going to let Barbara and Jamie say a couple words. Barbara
Sure.
Rancid has a business in Oxford, and Jamie, of course, is in St. Michael's. So
Okay.
we'll switch chairs real quick.
Hello, I'm Barbara Ranson. I have Oxford Vintage and Trade located in Oxford, Maryland.
Nice.
I just want to say thank you to all of you for this wonderful opportunity and for bringing Will to us. I think I speak for everyone in the class when I say we are so grateful. We've learned so much, and I promise you that I will use my new tools to bring new jobs to Talbot County, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
My name is Jamie Winden. I own the Lion Rum Distillery in St. Michael's, and this program really blew me away. I'm in my 11th year of business, and so often you think about these as being essential opportunities in your first year. If only something like this would have been available to me. It's very true that you don't know what you don't know until you get involved. And being in St. Michael's for the last decade, I have watched so many businesses open and close. And it's devastating to see the loss of investment disappear within our community. And there's a myriad of reasons why businesses don't succeed, but everything that was gone over in this class was so clear, concise, and with not just the facts, but where to go from there. So for me, it was a really wonderful opportunity to pause in Q1, which we all have no choice but to pause in Q1. It's quiet, and refocus and say, what does the next decade look like? But as far as our class was concerned, we have people who've just started their business and people who have been in a decade or longer. And so everyone was able to get something from the program that was incredibly valuable, but also to work together. And we have many forms of business communities throughout the county and the municipalities, but this was different. And so absolutely wonderful. Wonderful program. Thank you guys for supporting this, but thank you for continuing it. This should be should be required for everyone opening a business, but to be available in our community, I think this is just going to pay dividends. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Madam Secretary, you want to go ahead and read this into the record?
Yes, this is a certificates of completion. This certifies that the individuals before you have successfully completed the Talbot Works Business Academy, an intensive program dedicated to fostering the growth and success of small businesses in Talbot County. And the individuals receiving certificates tonight are Dr. James Bell Jr., Bell Education Solutions, LLC, Tammy Foote, Total Body Wellness, Andre Gibson Jr., Shore Awareness Self-Defense, Kimberly Hardesty, Salon Inspire, Gregory Harris, Harris Event Security, Tyvon Horsey and Tina Skinner, Royal Tea Catering, Amy and Dave Keller, Aging at Home Solution, Alan Lynch, Portside Grill, Michelle Money, Every Voice Counts Rehabilitation Services, Brandon Morgan, East Coast Poly Solutions, Anna Miller, Trade Whims, Dontel Pender, Helen and Ray's Kitchen for the Soul, Barbara Ranson, Oxford Vintage Trade, Tam Vu, Helen's Nail Salon, and Jamie Winden, Winden Distilling Lion Rum.
Great. That sounds great.
Do you want to pause just a moment and
Yeah.
then say a couple things, and then
Sure.
we'll bring them all up for a group photo?
Yeah.
And Keisha has their certificates.
Okay, is there a motion?
So move.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, you ready?
I think we're go
Are
ahead.
you going to do comments?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's start.
Okay.
from there.
Okay,
I'll
go
roll
ahead.
it out.
Yeah, we'll go Dave first. Okay.
All right.
Hey, Dave.
I think,
Yeah.
you know, well, number one, I appreciate you all facilitating this. I appreciate all the participants, you know, jumping in and making that investment in yourself, right? And making that investment in yourself is making an investment in your community. And it's awesome to see y'all, you're getting this today. So thank you all very much.
Just want to congratulate you and like Mr. Stepp, thank you for putting yourself out there to be an entrepreneur, to be a leader of a small business means taking on risk and having the guidelines to be able to do that, to know that you can improve your chances of success is comforting, and it not only to you but to those of us in the community who will hopefully support and patronize you in one way or another. Thank you for doing it.
Good job. Yep.
I'd like to commend Councilwoman Hay for inaugurating this program. It's just a wonderful asset to this community and to the business in our community, which is well-liked and well-needed, all of you. And I congratulate every one of you for completing this program and being there for us as a community. Thank you.
And so I'm going to say thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Will. Thank you to all of the participants. We know, Will and I know, that this program does work. It does expand businesses. It does produce jobs. But the one thing different with this program in Anne Arundel from all the other business programs is the addition of the marketing mentor, the law mentor, and the HR mentor. We found that that is what's lacking or had been lacking in a lot of the businesses. And that's why we incorporated that in Anne Arundel County when I initiated it and here in Talbot County. So thank you all again. I mean, this is certainly, economic development is one of my priorities as I sit here on the county council. And I'm so happy and elated to see this come to fruition and for the first cohort to come through this program. And hopefully we'll continue it for generations to come. So I salute every last one of you for continuing. And I know for a fact, every last one of you know your number, right? That's right. All right.
And I'll just follow up too. Thanks a lot, Keisha, for bringing this to our attention and starting and recognizing all this. And Will, Cassandra, thanks so much. And you guys really deserve a big pat on the back because of not only the impact, the economical impact, it's hiring people, it's putting people to work, it's looking out for families in Talbot County. And you guys have looked out for Talbot County, and we really appreciate it because you're a huge impact on the employees here. So I want to thank you for all that stuff. That's for sure.
Thank you. Keisha,
All
you
right.
planted the seed and I watered it. So
Yes, you sure did.
let's graduate our people.
That's
So,
right.
so would you like to go down there and we got if you guys want to come on up, everybody that we called the names, come on up.
Susan, can you call
Yep.
Jump right in, Cassandra. Jump right in.
They're in order, alphabetical order.
How's it going?
And I have friends over here.
Hey there, how are you?
He's got his other uniform on.
There he is. There he is.
What's this uniform?
Yep.
Amy
And Dave Keller. Thank you. Alan Lynch. Congratulations, sir. Michelle Money. Brandon Morgan. Anna Miller. Dontel Pinder. Barbara Ransom. Tam Vu. He's not here? Okay. And last but not least, Jamie Wyndham. Do you want this, Cassandra? Yeah, there should be one more. Well, here, you propose one. Which, that's the last one. That's okay.
It was there. Somebody must have it. I don't know.
Okay, we'll
So we'll sort it out.
All
All
right.
right.
I'll watch your back in business.
Squeeze on in.
Squeeze in.
Tall ones in the back.
Yeah.
And then the wedding jumper.
Squeeze in.
All right, I think I got every head. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, this time we got a lot of photographers.
One more.
Paparazzi.
Okay, now over here, please. 2 and 3.
Front page, right? Sorry, front page, front page.
Good?
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Anytime. Yep.
That filled in our time
Yes.
for our public meeting.
I know.
All right.
Thank you.
Really? I appreciated it when I started my business, my legal business.
Okay, let's get ready to get started here, the public hearing. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read 353 into the record, please? If we could shut that door, that'd be great. It's coming. There you go. That's good.
I think some people are coming in.
They're coming in. Okay. All right. Madam Secretary, could you just hold up for a second?
Yep.
Yep. That'd be great.
Why?
Okay, appreciate everybody coming in. Public hearing, Resolution 353, Madam Secretary. Could you go ahead and put that into the record, please?
Resolution number 353, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to clarify and confirm the water and sewer classifications of certain parcels incorrectly shown in Exhibits A and B to Resolution number 281 as amended, to reclassify and remap the water and sewer classifications of Tax Map 55, Parcel 83, Lot 1, Tax Map 59, Parcel 4, and portions of Tax Map 55, Parcels 17 and 65 as W3, S3, to provide the equivalent dwelling units for all phases of the Lakeside development for consistency with the Maryland Department of the Environment Discharge Permit number 19 DP 3460, and to require that any future expansion of the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant shall require an amendment to the comprehensive water and sewer plan.
Okay. Brendan, you guys want to come? Where's Ray? You guys want to come on up? It's good. Mr. Thomas, I'll turn it over to you a little bit, and then you could filter them in if you like.
Yes,
That's
so
okay.
to give a summary of
Yes,
the
sir.
proposed resolution.
Uh-huh.
This resolution consolidates resolutions 338, 347, and 348 in a single document, and it also reclassifies the S2W2 portions of the Lakeside development as S3W3.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah,
I'm Ray
Ray.
Clark, County Engineer, and just for the council, on March 22nd, the Public Works Advisory Board reviewed Resolution 353, and during their review of Resolution 353, they were recommending that under Section 3 and 4, that where it goes exhibits, Exhibit A hereby supersedes and replaces Exhibit A to Resolution 281, that there basically be a period at that point, and all the language beyond that would be deleted. So they suggested that in both sections 3 and 4. The board then voted basically 4-0, recommending the county council adopt Resolution 353 based upon those changes.
Okay. Yep.
Brendan Tarleton, County Planning Officer. At the April 2nd, 2024 meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed Resolution 353. The Planning Commission made a motion to find 353 consistent with the comprehensive plan, subject to 2 conditions as follows. That the language and initial flow of 37,500 gallons per day may be redirected from the Lakeside development to the existing trap district wastewater treatment plant, with all such flows to be redirected to the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant. Once constructed and operational, be changed to an initial flow necessary to serve no more than 120 dwelling units, and a community center and pool complex may be redirected from the Lakeside development to the existing trap district wastewater treatment plant, with all such flows to be redirected to the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant once constructed and operational. The second condition included was that the Office of Law craft language to clarify sections 2, 3, and 4 of Resolution 353, as the Planning Commission perceives sections 3 and 4 to be in conflict with section 2. That motion passed via a 4-1 vote.
Okay. Any other? We're good?
I'm good at this
Okay.
time, yes.
Okay. 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 At this time, I'll go ahead and open it up.
Mr. Callahan,
Yes.
since we had the request from both the Public Works Advisory Board and the Planning Commission, would it be appropriate before we hear from the public to at least put some language on that would amend sections 3 and 4 as requested? And Mr. Thomas, is there a way that we can do that?
Yes, I think the amendments or the proposed amendments to sections 3 and 4 are non-substantive. It's just essentially wordsmithing. I think you could revise, strike the language in section 3 and revise it to say the water classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit A hereto supersede and replace the water classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit A to Resolution 281. Similarly, in section 4, you strike the same sentence and say that the sewer classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit B hereto supersede and replace the sewer classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit B to Resolution 281. Then that just addresses the unrelated parcels and doesn't address any other properties.
Understood. Understood. Thank you, and thank you for preparing that. I think it's helpful to hear that before we hear from the public on these.
Okay. So, okay, at this time, let's go ahead and open it up for public hearing on 353. Mrs. Hayes, you want to do the time keeping for me? Okay, so we'll do 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes if you're representing an organization. So I'll start over here on my left here. Does anybody want to come on up here and speak on 353? Okay. All right. On my right, does anybody want to come up? Yes, sir. Come on up and speak on 353. Yes, sir. Come on up here. Yep. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a commissioner with the town of Trapp.
Yes, sir.
And I believe we submitted some comments to you.
Yep.
Has that been read into the record already?
I don't think it's been read.
It hasn't been, but we do have it for the record.
Yeah, we do have it for the record.
I'm gonna go down through these.
Yes, sir.
In reference to 383, the resolution is not responsive to MDE's request, which asked for 1, updated EDUs for all phases of the development, and 2, updated figures for water and sewer service with corrected classification for all parcels within the town of Trapp, and 3, a corrected map exhibit for Resolution 281. Resolution 353 goes beyond this request and requires an amendment to the county comprehensive water and sewer plan for any future expansion of the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant. So that's something new beyond what MDE requested. Thirdly, according to the Lakeside wastewater discharge permit, the town is already required to go back to MDE each time it expands by 100,000 gallons per day and to go through the public hearing process. MDE is the entity charged with regulating the disposal of treated wastewater, not the county. The town is responsible for development within its municipal borders, and has a town planning commission as well as a town comprehensive plan which has identified the lakeside development as growth area for 20+ years. Resolution 353 unfairly restricts growth, burdens the town of Trapp, and treats Trapp differently than other municipalities in the county who have not been the subject of a comprehensive water and sewer plan amendment for property within their jurisdiction without being an applicant for the amendment. And finally, the county in no way attempted to work with the town of Trapp on drafting this resolution. Never been down the Trapp to talk about this. So that's the talking points I was given. And on a personal note, this is from me. I do hope this is the last time I find myself giving comment on the county council's attempts to involve myself in matters concerning the lakeside development in Trapp. I can't believe the majority of residents in Talbot County want their council spending so much time on this attempt to keep their thumb on the scale and continue interfering with Trapp business. I am sure there are more pressing matters that could benefit from their attention being given to this attempt to control Trapp business. I hope to see the end to this wasting of time by voting today to reject once and for all this unnecessary legislation. And that's my comments.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. That's good. That's good. All right. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else on my right here would like to go ahead and comment on 353? Mm-hmm.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tom Allsbach, Talbot Preservation Alliance. I'll try to stay within 5 minutes. There's a lot going on here. I need to begin by making a most respectful correction to the presentation by the planning office. The proposal to add some language to 353 pertaining to the gallonage per day that can be authorized was not a condition of finding 353 consistent. If you listen to the tape and the video, you'll see very clearly that the Planning Commission voted to approve 353 standing alone as consistent with the comp plan. And then they had further discussion and made two recommendations they wanted to pass along to the council to consider. One was the one that we just addressed. The other was the one that would change the limitation for the amount of wastewater that could be directed to the existing trap plant, to change that from 37,500 gallons per day to an amount necessary to serve 120 homes. Where does that come from? 120 homes is a number that we've been consistently told by the town of Trapp and the developer's attorney is the limit of the number of houses they're going to put onto the existing wastewater plant in Trapp. However, if you have a gallonage flow of 100 gallons per day, you could go way beyond that number without any change to the plan, change to the water and sewer plan, and it would result in a lot more wastewater being directed into Trap Creek. And speaking of Trap Creek, we have heard many times, and you all have heard the notion that Trap's being treated differently, that this is an imposition on their way to development. This is not so. I mean, the fact of the matter is a 2,500 unit development has huge impacts on Talbot County citizens, on your constituents. Just consider the ones who are living downstream from the existing Trap wastewater plant. They don't worry about it anymore once it goes out the pipe, but it goes down and flows by and alongside the homes of many people who live in and around Trap Creek and are your constituents in the county. And they have concerns about controlling the amount of wastewater going to Trap Creek going into the future. It's also not true that Trap is being singled out. I've mentioned this to several people. Please go back on, Mr. Callahan, you were there. You remember just before the election, the development that Greg Gannon has over on Matthewstown Road was up before the county. I'm not pointing my finger at you, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'll myself.
That's okay. That's all right.
There was an amendment to the water and sewer plan that was necessary to accommodate this development in the town of Easton. And the county put those folks through the ringer. It went on for 2 nights. Corey Pack and Ms. Price raised multiple questions about the effect of this development on the schools, on the traffic, etc., doing exactly the same thing that we want to leave the door open to do to the extent far into the future. There are problems of that sort with this development in Trap that cause impacts on the county. And it's in the law that this county has the right to do that, to have that examination every time there's an amendment to the county water and sewer plan. So this is not something that's being done in particular to somehow penalize or single out Trap for disparate treatment. That's not so. 353, since my time I'm sure is growing short.
1 minute.
Thank you. I think, we believe, and we agree with the comments that were made by Chesapeake Bay Foundation to you in writing. This does an excellent job of bringing together 3 different ordinances, 3 different resolutions in one document that makes it much more comprehensible. And it addresses the fact that the Plan Commission did not find 347 and 348 consistent. 353 resurrects that concern and addresses the very thing that MDE has asked you to do, which is to lay out the EDUs going into the future and correct the maps. 353 does that. And then in addition, it has some provisions for continued supervision when the next water and sewer plan amendment is required, which is going to be years down the road, likely 6, 7, 8, I bet 10 years before we get to that point. So this is not something onerous that's being imposed on the town of Trap. It responds to MDE. It finally gets us past what's been festering for almost a year. And I would urge you to approve 353. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Allsbach.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All righty. Thanks for having me up here. Brian
Yep.
Schmidt, Trap Town Council.
Yeah.
This council made the decision in 2020 to approve Resolution 281, knowing all the history of the land designations for Lakeside and on finding a consistency from the Planning Commission. This then gave the authority to the town of Trap to proceed with developing this land. Now the county is trying to take that authority back. It has been 4 years and at present 4 resolutions, and the county is still trying to strip Trap of its authority in this matter. Resolutions 338, 353, and the amendments to 347 and 348 have been introduced by members of this council on behalf of the town of Trap. We did not ask this council to intervene. MDE is the controlling authority in matters of wastewater discharge, not the county. Disguising growth legislation as wastewater discharge is not proper procedure. This is only impeding the town's authority to control its own growth. Passing any of these resolutions, not only will you then be making decisions for the county, but you will also be making them for Trap as well. With these resolutions, this county is treating Trap different than other municipalities. You've never asked Easton or any other town to revert any water or sewer designations within their borders, no matter how many developments have been built in the last 20 years. You have never inhibited Easton in their development so that you can review resources and infrastructure. This area of Talbot County has been designated as growth area per this council's plan of review for at least 32 years. It has been within the green belt around the town of Trap set by this council's comprehensive plan. By definition, it is as smart growth as it gets. An area built in conjunction with an existing municipality to utilize existing infrastructure and preserve farmland. The fact is, this council, when 281 was before you in 2019, took a long, hard look at the particulars of the resolution and decided to move forward with all of it. This council recognized that the land that Lakeside is inhabiting has for 32 years been on the county books as growth area for the town of Trap, and as such was granted S1W1 status to this development. A Baltimore developer who resides in this county and resides in a development in this county has been relentlessly gaslighting the county and the community through a prolific amount of editorial writing into believing that Lakeside and Trap have not properly communicated with this council. That somehow, because S1W1 status was granted by you, something must have been wrong. I've said it before and will continue saying it, Trap and Lakeside have adhered to all the proper procedures of this county every step of the way. This county was not sleeping during the last 20 years when 25 plus homes, new homes were being built in and around Easton. It recognized what was happening and planned appropriately. I ask that you do that now. One question I want you guys to ask yourselves, where would you be without development? And as all these resolutions seem to be intertwined, I ask that you not approve 353, 338, or the amendments to 347 and 348.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Next, anybody else want to come on up on 353? Okay. All right. Okay. So, Mr. Thomas, so at this stage, we're going to go ahead and move forward, and go to the, or should we go ahead and vote on this now?
I believe
Yeah.
we're going to proceed with the public hearings, and then this will be eligible for further discussion after the other resolutions are considered.
Okay. Okay. So we'll go ahead and leave it open.
Yes.
The public. Okay. All right.
Well, no, it'll be later on in the hearing. Normally, we typically
we're leaving it
take
open, right?
action on the resolution after the hearing, but in this
Okay.
case, because we have the other Lakeside resolutions, we're going to take them in order at the appropriate time on the
Okay.
agenda.
No problem. All right.
So you can close the hearing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. At this time, does anybody else want to come up? Okay. At this time, I'll go ahead and close the hearing up. Okay. All right. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and start with 354?
Resolution number 354, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap certain real properties located at Blueberry Acres Lane, tax map 32, parcel 171, 7634 Wales Lane, tax map 32, parcel 156, 7590 Wales Lane, tax map 32, parcel 163, and 7596 Wales Lane, St. Michaels, Maryland, tax map 32, parcel 179, from unprogrammed to S1, immediate priority status.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Thomas, you want to just give a brief summary on this, please?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Clark on
Okay.
354 and 355. I think he's more familiar with the
Okay.
details of the proposed.
Sure, no
Yeah.
problem.
354 is associated with extending sewer from the Blueberry Acres, which is an area that was brought into the sewer service area for Region 2 wastewater treatment plant to serve, I believe it's 4 lots along Wales Lane. We worked with a property owner that actually lives in Blueberry Acres to secure a easement to go across over into Wales Lane, so we don't have to have another penetration in our force main out on Maryland Route 33. Ultimately, on March 21st, the Public Works Advisory Board met and reviewed Resolution 354 and made a motion to recommend the County Council adopt Resolution 354 via a 4-0 vote.
Okay.
I have a couple questions for Mr. Clark.
Yeah, sure.
The 4 acres, the 4 lots, subject of this resolution, are some of those, any of those developed and on septics at this time?
I believe 3 of them are developed and are on septic at this time, yes, sir.
And are any of those failing septics at this point?
I believe at this, I'd have to verify that with the Environmental Health Office. At this point in time, I don't have an answer for you.
No information on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And on April 2nd, 2024, the Planning Commission reviewed Resolution 354. A motion was made to postpone the consideration of Resolution 354 by the Planning Commission, noting that they'd like to have maps depicting the properties that were the subject matter of the application, as well as having the applicant present to answer any questions that they may have of the application. And they also requested the ability to go back and review the decision that was made and recommended to you all on Resolution 335, and as to see how that actually pertains to this application, the request that's before you. And that
Okay.
motion passed 4-0.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions on for council on 354?
No, I had the same question as Councilman Lesher in regards to whether or not it's a failing septic or not.
Okay.
I don't
All right.
believe they are, but I would have to verify with the Environmental Health.
Okay. Okay, so at this point, I'll go ahead and open that up to the public hearing and on 353, give 3 minutes for individual, 5 minutes for if you're representing an organization. So over here on my left here, anybody want to come up here and talk about 354? Okay. Over here, 354. Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Lee Brown, and I reside at 7590 Wales Lane, which I think you'll find familiar. It was on the document that you just read. I'm with here tonight a neighbor of mine who is the gentleman that's granting the right-of-way from Blueberry Acres Road over to Wales Lane. And I just really, when I heard the questions about failing septic, thought I ought to come up and address that. There are 3 current properties that are existing developed on Wales Lane. Mine is probably the only one that is not a currently recognized type septic. It's not a mound system, which the other lots have. And I think you'll find that my lot, like any lot that is built in Talbot County these days, is not developed as farmland for both reasons, actually, that exist. One is that it's low-lying. I can tell you that right now the water table is at ground level at the end of my septic system. It has not been declared as failing, but I assure you that if the health department came out today, they would find that it was marginal at best. Now, in June and July, when the water table drops, the system doesn't have any trouble. I know that both of my neighbors have mound systems that have had to be redone at least once in their existence, and while they probably are not considered failing, they are imminent, I would suspect, if the health department really came out and did a investigation. So this is not, and I heard Mr. Lesher's questions at the previous meeting about subdivision of lots. Mine's the biggest lot back there. It's around 9 acres. It is not subdividable by my understanding because I think you require 5-acre lots now. And as a matter of fact, mine's only 9 acres because my neighbor and I bought a 5-acre lot and divided it up between us and made the lot lines go away. So the interest back there is not to create lots, it's to make them go away. So, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody had anything specific to this arrangement.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. Anybody else like to come up and talk about 354? Okay. All right. At this time, I'll go ahead and, I guess at this time,
Close that public hearing.
yep. We'll go ahead and hold it open.
Okay.
Yep. It'll be eligible for vote May 14th. Am I right? Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Depending on whether the planning commission makes a recommendation at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So let's move on. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read into the record 355?
Resolution number 355, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to reclassify and remap certain real properties located at 6362 Bellevue Road, Royal Oak, Maryland, shown on tax map 40 as parcel 67, and the adjoining lot shown on tax map 40 as parcel 40, respectively, from unprogrammed to S1 immediate priority status.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr.
Yes,
Clark?
sir. On this resolution, this is, the two parcels are actually owned by one property owner. One is developed, the other is not. And ultimately, the Public Works Advisory Board reviewed the resolution 355. We have a sewer line that runs from basically Bellevue all the way up to the Royal Oak number 2 pump station. So it is right there, so it's easy to tie these properties in. The board reviewed resolution 355 and ultimately it made a motion and passed that motion recommending the county council adopt resolution 355.
Okay. Brendan?
And on April 2nd, 2024, the Planning Commission reviewed Resolution 355. Motion was made to postpone consideration of 355 at that time, as the Planning Commission noted that they, again, would like to see maps of the subject property for the application, confirmation as to whether or not there had been a perk test done yet on the vacant lot, parcel 40, that is currently unimproved, that the applicant also be present for the application to answer any questions, and the ability to look back and review Resolution 335 before making a recommendation.
Okay.
And that
That's
motion passed via 4-0 vote.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. So, okay, at this time, let's go ahead and open the public hearing on that, on 355, and give you 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for an organization. Anybody here on my left want to come up and talk about 355? Hey there.
Hi there. Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Tracy Ward, and I'm the owner of the 2 lots that are subject of resolution number 355. I did send you all a letter via email that sort of outlined my intent, but essentially my house is in the critical area. Between the 2 lots, I have about 9 acres, and of those, about 8 acres is forested. So when every year I have my my septic cleaned, and last year I had them come out and take a look at that, and I wanted them to tell me what they thought the useful life was left, so that I could begin planning for a big expenditure if necessary. And I was informed that, you know, it's as old as I am, basically, so pretty old, and that it probably will need to be replaced, and I could count on it costing around $70,000. So And the site that he was indicating that a new septic would be put in was very close to a lot of oak trees. And it's very forested. These oak trees have been there for over 100 years. And so I wasn't feeling too great about that, and somebody told me that the line went down Bellevue Road, and that's when I called and made the application. And I have to say, just compliments to county staff, because I feel like both at the public works level and at the planning level, I got great care and information, and I felt like the hearings were well prepared for. Disappointed in the decision of the Planning Commission, but I understand they simply need more information. My intent is not really to develop the other lot, it's forested. My intent here is really to get the most environmentally correct, responsible solution for my property, which is in the critical area. Oh,
Okay.
and the other comment is, I don't think it's relevant, but I'll say it anyway. I was told that both lots would perk. You have
Okay.
to test it to see that
Okay.
they will, but I was told that they would.
Okay, all right, it's fine.
Any questions?
That was my question. Having heard that there was no test now.
No tests, yeah.
to date.
I didn't want to spend the money for the second lot, and I felt like the best solution for my lot is getting it connected if I can.
Gotcha. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, anybody else on 355? Okay, so we'll go ahead and hold that over into May 14th for eligible for vote. Okay? All right, next on the agenda is, Madam Secretary, Bill 1551. If you could read that into the record.
Bill number 1551, a bill to award 8.348 acres of supplemental growth allocation to the town of Easton and to impose certain conditions, restrictions, and limitations on its use.
Okay. Brendan, you want to come up?
If I could, before I get started, I'd like to just pass out one.
Sure.
exhibit.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought you said-
That's all right. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. You, if you don't mind, you let him go first. That would be, yep.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'll go ahead and get started. while
Yeah,
he's
go ahead and get
passing those
started.
around,
Yep.
just to let
Yeah,
you
while
all
we
know.
read this. Exactly.
Just for a brief history, back in September, on September 22nd of 2022, the town of Easton and the Talbot County Planning Commission hosted their joint meetings to discuss the application before you, which is a supplemental growth allocation award request, ultimately from the town of Easton. That requires both a joint hearing at the Planning Commission level and the council level. The town Planning Commission in November 17th of 2022 voted 401 to recommend the council support the supplemental growth allocation award. Likewise, the County Planning Commission voted a 5-0 recommendation of support of approval of the growth allocation request on December of the 7th. As you all are aware, the County Council has already held their joint hearing with the Town Council on this, and it's now before you for your decision. The Town Council has already made their decision to approve the growth allocation award. Because it's a supplemental growth allocation award, it essentially needs to be approved before the County Council prior to be submitting to the Critical Area Commission for their final review and approval. So tonight, they're here before you requesting the supplemental growth allocation of approximately 8.348 acres of critical area designated land for RCA to be converted to IDA. And as we already stated as part of the application, this is the property addressed at or located at the Mary's Court 28580. Lot 16 LLC is the applicant for that.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, okay, at this time, I'll go ahead and open it to the public hearing, 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for an organization. So does anybody want to come on up? Brendan, you want to come up? You're all prepared, you know?
Apologize.
It's okay.
Brendan Mullaney with McAllister, Dietar, Showalter, and Walker. I am here on behalf of the property owner, which, since you all had the joint council meeting with the town of Easton, has changed. Thomas R. Coey was the previous property owner, and last week, earlier than was anticipated, closing was not supposed to occur until after this hearing, not because of the hearing, that was just the timing that was planned. Closing occurred last week, and the owner of the property is now Somerset Well Drilling Co. Incorporated, which is a local well company. They also own Shanahan Well out of St. Michael's. I believe you all are familiar with this application and don't need to belabor the point or go through all of the legal criteria that have been addressed in the application materials that are in your packages and the narratives that my office and the applicant have submitted. Just to finish my thought on this letter, what I submitted just a moment ago is a letter from the current property owner adopting everything that's in the record, everything that has been submitted to both the town and the county, and acknowledging that I represent the property owner in pushing this growth allocation application across the finish line and finishing what was started by the previous property owner. Lot 20 is an 8.348 acre lot in the Talbot Commerce Park that was subdivided in 1997. When it was subdivided, the critical area law was in effect, and it was in large part because of the critical area designated, I believe, RC at the time and RCA. So it was not contemplated for industrial and commercial development the way that the rest of Talbot Commerce Park was. After the subdivision in 1997, which was a total of 18 lots, the entire park was annexed into the town of Easton in 2014. And after lot 16, which was in affiliated ownership under Mr. Coey and now is in common ownership, was developed, the critical area was remapped, and the critical area line extended further into Talbot Commerce Park. And that, because lot 16 was already developed, that expanded critical area was designated IDA. So this application was submitted for, I believe, what at all turns has been called a reasonable request to designate RCA within an industrial and commercial subdivision from RCA to IDA to allow development as proposed of the 8.348 acre parcel that is lot 20. It is separated from other areas of RCA by Goldsboro Neck Road and meets all of the legal criteria that are applied by both the county code, the town code, and state law, as again explained in the narratives that we have submitted. As I said, lot 16 is partially IDA, so this matches the immediately adjacent parcel in designation. What is proposed and what happened after this approval is one new office building outside of the critical area on what is currently lot 16. That's 4,025 square feet. A roughly 6,400 square foot expansion of the existing building A shown on the plans within the IDA as it exists. A new 16,000 square foot office and warehouse building within the existing IDA, so not in the area that we're asking to be reclassified, and two new 8,100 square foot buildings within the IDA that is currently classified as RCA. This proposal is consistent with the county and town comprehensive plans. It is reasonable and responsible development within the town, which the plans call for. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but ask that the council, as the town has already done, approve what is before them so that we can move forward to the Critical Area Commission. I guess one last note is that the current zoning is A1 under the town zoning map, and we will be seeking a redesignation, a rezoning to BC, which is consistent with the rest of the Talbot Commerce Park.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mullaney, I'm learning things from, I thought I was somewhat familiar with this and how the remapping of the critical area created the problem for this lot. When I saw that remapping, it appeared to take just a sliver off of this lot. But what I'm learning from your presentation is that when that happened, that this entire parcel got redesignated.
So there's two parcels that were in common ownership, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Yes.
I think I understand the question. The RCA as it exists was the previous boundary of the critical area. That expanded into lot 16. So when they subdivided the properties, they created lot 20, which is what's before you for growth allocation approval. They created that based on the RCA line, the critical area line. And when they remapped the critical area, that critical area line moved into lot 16. So that's that sliver of IDA, because lot 16 was already developed in the Talbot Commerce Park.
And so that sliver that was in lot 16 had to be IDA, and they, to compensate for that, they took area out of lot 20?
They did not. So the lot boundary remained along the RCA boundary, and lot
Okay.
20 has always been RCA.
Oh.
So the lot boundary didn't change, just the critical area boundary moved into lot 16.
Okay.
So the configuration of the lots has always remained the way that it is today.
But this redesignation affects only lot 20. It does not reclassify anything in lot 16 here.
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, and that amount is this 8-point-some acres that needs to be reclassified?
It is the entirety of lot 28.348 acres. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other body want to come up here and talk about 1551? Okay. All right, I'll, this 1551 is eligible for vote April 23rd, so, okay. All right, Madam Secretary, you want to move on to 1552? Read that into the record for us, please.
Bill number 1552, a bill to amend Chapter 11 of the Talbot County Code, alcoholic beverages, for the purpose of generally exempting Thompson Park, located in the town of Easton, from the 500-foot public park setback requirement for new off-sale licenses.
Okay, thank you. So, once again, open it up to the public hearing, 3 minutes for anybody who wants to come up and talk about it, and 5 minutes for organization. So here to my left here, does anybody want to come up and talk about 1552? Okay, here to my right, yep. Come on up there, Zach.
Thank you, Council. For the record, Zach Smith on behalf of Blue Point Hospitality, to speak in support of Bill 1552. And I just wanted to make sure that the Council did receive the letter of support from the town of Easton, also supporting Bill 1552. And I would just say generally, what Bill 1552 will do is broaden the existing exception to the setback for certain types of liquor licenses from Thompson Park. And that exception is in there, I think, in recognition that Thompson Park is unique in that it's in the heart of downtown, and because of the compact nature of downtown Easton, most, if not all, of downtown's commercial core is within 500 feet of Thompson Park. And without this exception, the existing exception as modified by 1552, downtown Easton would be seemingly at a competitive disadvantage for certain types of commercial uses. And so with the adoption of this code, those uses, a wine shop or other similar use could go in downtown Easton. And just speaking for our justification for requesting the amendment, Blue Point Hospitality, as I reported to council before, Blue Point operates the Ward Room in downtown Easton, which has two components. It has a restaurant component and a market component. And frankly, the restaurant needs some additional space. And so the best way to do that is to take over the space occupied by the market. But Blue Point wants to keep the market in downtown Easton. It's very well received, and I think the town wants to see it there. It's desirable. So we've looked for another location. Blue Point does have another location, but it's also within 500 feet of Thompson Park. And so we're proposing this amendment, and if adopted, we'll move forward, renovate that existing space, fill a vacant storefront, make a beautiful facade in downtown Easton. Also, expand the Ward Room, which I think is also desirable. So all those things, I think, come as benefits if 1552 is adopted. So we'd ask the council to approve 1552. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
One quick follow-up. Because this is, as it must be, a generally applicable law, presumably this does not apply merely to Blue Point or to the property that's in question now. This would allow anybody that otherwise meets Easton zoning to open an off-sale liquor license, an off-sale store, or any other form of liquor license within that 500-foot radius of Thompson Park.
Yeah, provided that they obtained a liquor license from the County Liquor Board and complied with Easton's zoning, historic district requirements, zoning code requirements, yes, it would permit a store for off-sale consumption to be established in downtown Easton. Still subject to the market test, though. You know, there's a limited number of licenses available in Talbot County generally, so that rule would still apply.
Okay.
And if I could just add one additional point, I think I reported this last time when I came for introduction. The town of Easton recently eliminated a similar setback provision in its zoning code for the same reason, to allow investment in downtown Easton and allow these uses to go in downtown Easton and encourage it. Because before there was a 1,000-foot setback from certain land uses in the town code, one of which were parks, and that provision included this type of a wine shop to be located in downtown Easton. So the town eliminated that code, they just eliminated it altogether. We're just asking to broaden the exception to the 500-foot setback for just Thompson Park.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Could I have a quick
Yeah,
question?
sure.
Zach, while
Yep,
you're here, can I
yep.
ask? So, you say the setback is close to 500 feet. I mean, how close are we talking here? Is it a matter of feet, from what I understand?
It is. I think the Ward Room currently, which is under Class I license, which already fits in the exception, is about 400 feet from Thompson Park. The space that Blue Point wants to utilize is the former Harrison's Flowers, which is further away from Thompson Park, but still I think around 470 feet or so from Thompson Park.
All right, and as far as what products they're selling there, can you clarify that for the record?
Oh, sure. So it's a market. I mean, there's a number of food products sold there, but in terms of the alcohol inventory, it's mostly wine. There's some craft beer, I believe, limited selection, and then some spirits are sold there as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep. Any other questions for Zach? Okay. Okay, anybody else want to come up here and speak about 1552? Okay. All right, so 1552 will be eligible for vote April 23rd. Okay. All right. Moving on, next on the agenda, Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read 338 Amendment 1 into the record, please?
Resolution number 338, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan for consistency with discharge permit number 19 DP 3460, issued by the Maryland Department of the Environment on October 27th, 2022, and to require that any future expansion of the new Lakeside wastewater treatment plant shall require an amendment to the Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan. And then we have,
Okay.
you want me to read the amendment?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I said, you want me to read the amendment, or you just?
I think so, yep. Unless, Mr. Mr. Thomas?
I can summarize it
Yeah, would you mind?
briefly.
Yeah, that'd be good, okay.
So
Yep.
as Ms. Moran stated, Resolution 338 amends the Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan for consistency with the discharge permit that MDE issued for the new Lakeside facility, and then adds an additional condition that any future expansion would also require an amendment to the plan. Amendment number 1 simply adds the requirement that any amendment to the comprehensive water and sewer plan must include a certification by the Planning Commission that the amendment is consistent with the county's comprehensive plan pursuant to 9506 of the Environment Article. And this amendment, it's really just extra language. That requirement would apply with or without the amendment, because in order to amend the comprehensive water and sewer plan, the Planning Commission has to make that finding of consistency first.
Okay. All right, with that being said, council comments?
I've spoken on this before, and this is simply for consistency with the MDE discharge permit. It simply parallels the language in on the county level as well.
Okay. Any other? Okay. Okay. All right. It's eligible for vote, Madam Secretary? Okay.
First the amendment.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Read the amendment 1.
Yeah, would you read Amendment 1, please?
Defer to Mr. Thomas.
Amendment number 1 to resolution number 338, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan for consistency with discharge permit number 19 DP 3460 issued by the Maryland Department of the Environment on October 27th, 2022, and to require that any future expansion of the new Lakeside wastewater treatment plant shall require an amendment to the Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan. As I summarized, the proposed amendment is to subsection 1 under table 1, which sets forth the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant limitations and requirements. The amendment provides the language as introduced says, as stated in permit 19 DP 3460, a major permit modification is required for any future expansion of the Lakeside wastewater treatment plant. Such expansion shall also require an amendment to this plan. The amendment adds the language, including a certification by the Talbot County Planning Commission that the amendment is consistent with the Talbot County Comprehensive Plan pursuant to Section 9506A12 of the Environment Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to vote on Amendment 1.
And so just a
We have to
question
vote on
for.
338 first.
No, the
That is
amendment and then the overall legislation. So we'll know when we're voting on 338 whether it's as amended or without the amendment.
The amendment's
Right,
not
that's correct.
substantive, correct? The amendment is not substantive.
Well, regardless, you vote on the
I'm just-
amendment
well, I'm
before.
just saying.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Thomas, we got to vote on Amendment first.
Yes, you
Okay.
vote on the amendment, as Mr. Lesher said,
Yes.
you vote on the amendment, and then, depending on how it goes, you either vote on the resolution as it stands or as amended.
Correct. Correct.
And so,
Yep.
Mr. Thomas, as far as 338 goes and the amendment, it is in accordance with all of the state and county laws, and we have the authority to put 338 into place.
So if you adopt this, like any other water and sewer plan amendment, it then has to go to MDE, and MDE is the final approving authority, and they have the ability to either approve it, modify it, or revise it. So ultimately, whatever is adopted here will go to MDE for final approval.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a denial opportunity for MDE as well? You said a revision of.
Yes, they can
modification,
reject, they can either approve it as submitted, reject it outright, or modify it.
so- okay.
They have
And
the
if
authority to do it
if
under state law.
rejected, where does that leave us?
I believe there's an opportunity to request a hearing before the Secretary of MDE, but barring that, the denial would be final.
Gotcha.
And one last thing, am I right by saying, Mr. Thomas, help me if I'm right or wrong on this, that MDE, this MDE did not ask for this type of an amendment?
No, just to be clear, this resolution was introduced before, this was, I believe, in February of '23, and then we received a letter from MDE in April of 2023, which pertained to the EDUs and
Right.
the maps.
Right, right.
Earlier.
Okay,
So
All
this
right.
is not related to those.
correct. I
resolutions.
wanted to make sure it wasn't related to what actually MDE wanted.
Correct.
Correct, okay. All right then. All right, Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. So next, what we'll do, we'll vote on 338 with the amendment.
Yes.
Okay. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right, that's 338. Okay. Next, Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read Resolution 347?
Resolution number 347, a resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan to provide the equivalent dwelling units for all phases of the Lakeside development.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, you want to go over that one for us,
Yes,
Phil?
Joe, just, I know it's on the agenda, but
Yeah.
I believe Mr. Tarleton stated earlier, the Planning Commission reviewed Resolution 347 and the amendments at their meeting on April 2nd. They found them inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. Therefore, because that condition has not been met, council cannot approve them. So it can either be withdrawn, or because resolutions don't expire, council can simply choose to table it for the time being and address it at a later date,
That's
depending on what happens with these other resolutions and
Sure.
what MD decides.
Sure. So what's council's prerogative? Do you want to just table it, or do we want to withdraw it?
You can't vote on it.
Well, Dave and I, didn't we
Yeah,
introduce?
It's the two of, it's
Didn't we introduce?
Mr. Stepp, Ms. Hayes are the sponsors.
Yeah.
Right.
What is your recommendation, Mr. Thomas?
My recommendation would be to table it.
Okay,
Okay.
so be it.
So be it. We're going to table it.
Fine with it.
You good? Okay, so we're going to table,
That requires a motion.
okay.
So I make a motion to table 347 and 348 till further notice.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so Madam Secretary, we're going to go ahead, and we got a motion and second to go ahead and table 347, 348. Can you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
So I have a question for Mr. Thomas. So
Sure.
347 and 348 had initially went to MDE just for a brief review, right?
Yes.
As Councilman Stepp and I presented. So with MDE saying that that was sufficient to satisfy the letter, and Planning Commission voting that it is inconsistent with the comp plan, where does that leave us responding to MDE's request? Because now I think, is it a year? Are we a year over the response time to MDE?
We're almost a year to the day. The response to MDE will, I think, be contingent on how council addresses Resolution 353, though, because that also sets forth the phases and EDUs for Lakeside and addresses the maps as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, next, we're, Resolution 353. Madam Secretary, could you read that into the record, please?
348.
What'd I say?
348.
Or 348? Well, we
we
tabled
tabled
that.
both.
We- we-
Oh, the both?
347
I
and
thought it was just
348.
347.
Yes.
347 and 348.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
they're
Sorry
both
about
are
that.
in the.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right.
We did discuss that.
So
You
we're
still
on
want me to read it to the record?
353, right? Or,
Moving 353 to vote, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, we've read it, its title this evening already. This is, presumably that doesn't need to be repeated.
Well, let's make sure everybody
Okay.
understands that
Okay.
maybe somebody wasn't here,
Okay.
you know?
So you want me?
Yeah.
Council, Ms. Hayes made a motion to table resolutions number 347 and 348. That was seconded by Mr. Stepp, and all agreed to table both resolutions. What's before you now is resolution number 353, which you had a public hearing on earlier this evening. It's now eligible for vote if you choose.
Okay.
Except I would add that because you just adopted Resolution 338, and 338 is also part of 353, you may want to consider amending 353 to remove the reference to 338, as it's already been adopted, it's now been adopted.
Okay, so,
You'd essentially be adopting, if you were to adopt 353, you'd be adopting the same language twice.
okay. So we have to make an amendment to get 338 out of this 353. So we need to do that first.
In my view, well, yes.
Okay.
Or you can go ahead and take action on 353.
Do we
It's just
need
gonna be
353?
confusing when you have two resolutions that have
But-
the same language.
Okay.
And then you also, I don't know, Mr. Lesher, we had talked about the.
An amendment for
the-
sections
and
3 and 4.
The recommendations of the planning commission as well.
All right, so
there's a
bear with me.
few
now.
things to
Bear
unpack there.
with me. What do you recommend we do? Do we even need 353 now that 338 has been passed with an amendment?
Well, we still need 350, well, I don't say we need 353.
Yeah.
353 does other things besides 338.
Okay.
It provides the EDUs and phases for Lakeside. It also
Okay.
addresses the mapping items that MDE had asked us to address, and it also reclassifies the W2, S2 parcels from W2, S2 to W3, S3. The planning commission had made a recommendation or condition regarding changing some of the language about the 37,500 gallons per day. Well, that condition is now moot because the council just adopted 338, which has the 37,500 gallons per day in it, which the planning commission had previously found consistent with the comprehensive plan. I think, so that's been addressed. You can certainly amend sections 3 and 4 to clean up the language as we had discussed earlier.
So if I may,
Sure.
I would move that we amend sections 3 and 4 with the revised language as read by Mr. Thomas to make it clear that sections 3 and 4 pertain only to the unrelated parcels and do not impact the portion addressed in section 2.
So we need to vote on that first.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So, did you get that, Madam Secretary? 'Cause
I'm trying.
I know, so am I. Patrick's got it. All right, so,
Do you want me to read the language again?
if you don't mind,
Sure.
that would be great. I'd appreciate it. I think just read the language that we need to vote on.
Yes. So section 3 of resolution 353 would be amended by striking the language in its entirety, and it would read, "The water classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit A hereto supersede and replace the water classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit A to resolution number 281." And then section 4 would be stricken in its entirety and replaced with, "The sewer classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit B hereto supersede and replace the sewer classifications of the unrelated parcels as shown on Exhibit B to resolution 281.
Okay. Any questions for council? I hope not. Okay. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
No.
Mr. Stepp?
No.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
I need more time. I'd like to see the amendment put in place first, and us have the actual resolution before we vote on it, as with 338 as well.
Okay, that's what we'll do. All right. So if we do that, that means we
Oh,
need.
you need me to vote yes or no?
Yeah. What-
Which is just on the amendment.
Just on the amendment.
Which does not, we can still, and then we can look at that language and we can.
Well, I don't
we can
think that's
bring
what
this-
she wants.
I understand.
I don't think that's what she wants.
Okay, so nay.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll
Yep.
amend.
Okay. So it's, bear with me, it's 3 no's.
Correct.
Okay, so the amendment didn't pass.
Correct.
Okay, so now, we're moving on to 353.
Well, Ms. Haith has asked for more time, or does that?
Well, that's what I was headed to that we need to go ahead and draft the.
Because that was 353.
Huh?
That was the
three-
amendment.
That was
Yes,
right.
that was the amendment.
Okay.
353.
With amendment, with that amendment in it,
Right,
right?
right.
I would ask that rather than April 23rd, that we schedule this for a vote on, I believe it's May 14th.
May 14th, yes.
I will be absent from the April 23rd meeting.
Okay. All right. Can we move, is everybody straight on that? We'll vote on that on the May 14th.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay, okay, everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so, all right, I think that is it for now. And, thank goodness we got Clay stuff now.
How would you like the
Yes.
county manager report?
There you go, that's good.
Okay. So, council, thank you. Tonight on the county manager report, we have a number of appointments to boards and committees. So be patient with me. The first is regarding the Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board, requesting the appointment of Jeannie George for that board. Actually, that's a reappointment. of Jeannie
Reappointment,
George.
okay.
I'll move the appointment.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second to put Jeannie George on that committee. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Notice how popular the county manager report is. People start
I tell you,
exiting the room.
I know it. Right.
The next is for the Animal Control Board. We're requesting the appointment of Marjol Height to that alternate position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Next is the Board of Electrical Examiners requesting the reappointment of Chris Kleppinger to that board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
The next is Commission on Aging requesting the reappointment of Megan Murray representing the Talbot Hospice Volunteer Coordinator position on the Commission of Aging.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
And the next is the Emergency Services Advisory Board requesting the reappointment of Jean Cooperberg representing the Bay Hundred District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, Council. Next is the Public Works Advisory Board requesting the appointment of Charles Powers as a representative to the 5th Election District.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Thank you, Council. And the final is the Short-Term Rental Review Board requesting the appointment of Mr. Bob Haas from St. Michael's for that board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to put Bob Haas on the review board. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lusher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Thank you, Council. I'd like your Superintendent of Roads and Facilities, Brian Moore, to come up. He's going to be requesting council approval to award a contract to David A. Bramble Incorporated to pave approximately 14.23 miles of roadway. The county would be piggybacking off a Maryland State Highway Administration contract for work in the sum not to exceed $800,000. There is adequate funding in the account for this effort, and Brian is here to add to and/or answer questions. Brian?
Evening, Council. As Clay mentioned, we reached out to the state contractor to get quotes on paving roads. We got a quote of over $2 million of roads that we would like to get done. As Clay mentioned, we have $800,000 in a fund that it should be available to do paving. That does not include the in-house paving. We wish to do the in-house paving to the roads department. Will do some of the shorter roads and roads on our list. We're going to utilize the state contractor to do some of the other projects. So I'm here tonight to get approval we're going to have to reprioritize the list and do as much as we can. But I really would like to get on their schedule to get things moving.
Motion to approve the request for Bramble to do the paving.
Gotcha. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to approve the contract for Bramble to help us out on the roads. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Council, thank you very much. Brian, thank you.
Thank you
Have
very
your
much.
approval.
Brian.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you,
And
Brian.
Council, thank you very much for your support. That completes your county manager report for this week.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Stamp. Good job. Okay, so we're going to move on to public comment, and I think we have 3 people here. Mr. Lush, you want to go ahead and call them up?
The first is signed up as an organization, Elgin's Army.
Mm-hmm.
That's still 5 minutes.
We'll just split our time. Good evening, council members. It's good to see you all again. I'm thrilled to be back talking to you on behalf of Elgin's Army. As you probably already know, my name is Jen Hawley, Elgin's mom. And we first met in August of last year, where Elgin shared her story about suffering a brain aneurysm on the field hockey field at Easton High School on August 18th of 2021. I provided a parent's perspective, and my husband discussed the community support we received from Elgin's field hockey family. In that same council meeting, Elgin's Army surrounded her as she requested this council support of her Make-A-Wish for the construction of a turf field at Easton High School. Since then, we have spoken to this council several times, to the Talbot County Board of Education, Star Democrat, Ben Bruner at 91.7 WHCP, Easton Town Council, and many others. All the while, Elgin's voice is strong and her commitment unwavering. Less than 1 month ago, we were here again as the Talbot County Board of Ed formally requested the funding of the field in their budget proposed for 2025. Field Turf USA has reduced their cost by $100,000 once they heard about Elgin and our partnership with Make-A-Wish. It may interest you to know that Stephen Decatur's initial estimate was also $1.8 million, and they were able to reduce those costs by $410,000. But they didn't have what we have, Make-A-Wish. With Make-A-Wish in the mix, I am thoroughly convinced that we will be able to leverage that partnership to reduce our costs even more. But we need a formal commitment of the funds specifically designated for the construction of the field to go forward. As you continue your budget deliberations and prioritize capital projects, I would like to remind you of the impact a turf field athletic stadium could have on this community. First, our athletes and fair competition. A multi-purpose turf field which supports field hockey, football, soccer, and lacrosse will have a transformative impact on our players who currently play on grass. As you are probably aware, the conditions of our fields do not help us be competitive with other teams who both practice and play on turf. And it certainly puts us at a disadvantage if and when we play a championship game, as those typically take place on turf as well. A turf field will serve to put us on a level playing field with most of our competition in this area to include Queen Anne's, Ken Island, Stephen Decatur, and Pocomoke. Second, revenue. Because of the poor conditions of our fields, we are not able to host any regional or tournament games, so we are not generating any revenue for our schools or our community for events like this. However, turf fields have been proven quite lucrative, specifically in Queen Anne's County, whereby their rental costs cover maintenance of the fields and also afforded them funding of 2 additional turf fields at Bats Neck and Churchill Park, just 4 years after the Kent Island and Queen Anne's County high school fields were built. We could also take a similar approach and implement practices whereby the field would pay for itself. We could absolutely generate our own maintenance costs by renting our field as well to Parks and Rec, to surrounding school districts like North Carolina, travel teams such as Dark Horse, and other teams that are closer to us geographically. Additionally, Easton High School could potentially save money by partnering with Parks and Rec to care, manage, and rent this field. Finally, a sense of pride in our community and our athletes. Sports transcends politics. It transcends our differences. It encourages a sense of unity, engagement, and community. Seeing and attending sporting events in these stadiums reinforces tremendous pride in community and its athletes. If you have ever walked into one of these stadiums, lights on, music blaring, the feeling is indescribable, and we are just the spectators. I can't imagine how the athletes feel. Imagine how our athletes would feel. We have a wonderful opportunity to partner with Make-A-Wish and show Elgin and anyone like her who has overcome adversity that they matter, that they are seen, and that they are heard. We have a wonderful opportunity to recognize and appreciate our current and future athletes. We have a wonderful opportunity to instill a sense of pride and community in our residents. You have a wonderful opportunity to provide the full funding for a turf field that would support all of these endeavors and more. So as you leave tonight, continuing to think about budget priorities and engage with each other about them in the coming weeks, we are asking you to be mindful of the opportunity before you, of the athletes in our community who would benefit for decades to come, of the story you could tell about a 15-year-old girl who you met once, a student, an athlete, and brain aneurysm survivor who somehow managed to channel her tragedy and heartbreak using her voice, her love for sport, competition, and her fellow athletes to make a wish for a turf field. And you made her wish come true. Yup, what a story that could tell and a legacy you could leave behind. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Alex Peslin.
I'd first like to thank you guys for your audience tonight. And secondly, I'd like to pledge my support for everything that Ms. Hawley just shared with us. And many of those points I feel that I could speak at length about. There's really only one that I would like to share with you guys. And I would first like to say, my name is Alex Peslin, you know that. I'm a teacher at Easton High School. I teach government at Easton High, and I feel that if much of what I do with my students is encourage them to get engaged with their community, I better do that myself, so here I am. I also coach soccer at Easton High School, and I feel that my position as a coach at the school, as a teacher within the same building, and as a very young teacher, I've only been teaching for about 2.5, heading into my 3rd year now, that leaves me in a very unique position to make connections with our kids. And I feel that it's very easy to view them as students, to view them as athletes, but I try to view them as people first always. And I teach them, you know, as people before I teach them the content that I'm supposed to teach them. And I feel that this gives me a unique perspective in that what I see in the interactions that I have with these kids every day and what they're missing, and Ms. Hawley made a point of this, the sense of pride that something like a turf field could give to our kids, I really think would speak volumes. I think it would give them something to be excited about, something to look forward to, and a reason to want to go to school. And what I see every day in the classroom, given the content that I teach government, here we are, right? I see that a lot of our kids are uninspired, they're unmotivated, they don't want to go to school, they don't want to go to school to learn, they don't see the value in it. And I feel that this turf field could be something that gives them a reason to want to go to school, to give them, to have pride in being an Easton Warrior, which I feel is something that we lack at the moment. And I think that you could talk about the economic aspect and you could bring in clubs and rent out the field and it makes the money back and all of this. And I agree with all of that, but I feel that the real value here is qualitative, in that we could make a difference and we could make our kids want to come to school and want to learn. And I say that as somebody who is not a parent. I'm 25 years old, I'm single, I'm not married, right? And it's not necessarily your children in the schools, but they're our kids and it's our future and our community. And I feel that this is a real chance to make a difference. And maybe anecdotally, I would like to personally be able to share, you know, in some small way, maybe I made some small difference in that community, and hopefully use that as an example, the story to tell my students, and that you can do that, you really can make a difference. And that's why, you know, it brings a smile on my face to see Elgin here at the meetings, right? At a meeting like this, you know, at 8 p.m. in the middle of the week, right? How many high school kids do you see here? So that's exactly the kind of thing I try to encourage in the classroom, that I feel very, very strongly about. It's why I do what I do. It's why I chose a career in education at a very difficult time to do so. But I feel that a turf field at Easton High could really make a difference in a qualitative way. It could make kids want to come to school, have something to be excited about, bring us together, and build a sense of community. So, thank you.
Good, thank you. Okay.
And next up, Dennis Keenan.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Dennis Keenan, special education teacher at Easton High School for 26 years, boys lacrosse coach for 24 years, and I'm here to support Elgin's wish to have a turf field put at Easton High School. I think it'd be a competitive advantage for Easton High School sports. Over the last few weeks, we all saw the weather. The weather kept us inside, or we had to cancel practices, where a turf field would give us an opportunity to get outside and practice and have scrimmages and games. I'm also MPSSA committee member and District 8 chairman for the State Boys Lacrosse Committee. And as a state committee, we look towards high schools with turf fields to host the state semifinals and regions championships. So that will also get us more exposure to the state. But I just want to thank Elgin for going ahead to asking for this, for a turf field, because it'll just be for, you know, whenever we put it in for years to come, and also be a moneymaker for Talbot County. If we rent out the fields, it would fill up. You know, if we do tournaments, brings in people to use the hotels, hit the restaurants, and see the beautiful Talbot County. So that's all I have to say. I just support Elgin and her family, and thank her. I'm not as very elegant as the other people.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else would like to come up and say a few words? Anybody else? Okay, and that was it on the list? Okay. All right, we're down to council comments. You want to start us off, Mr. Stepp? Yeah.
Been a lot said tonight. I'll keep it short.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Okay.
I had the pleasure of attending the Blessing of the Fleet at Tillman, at Dogwood Harbor this past Sunday. A really wonderful turnout from Talbot Watermen's Association, Tillman Watermen's Museum, and the Tillman Volunteer Firemen's Company, among others. A good overview of what is going on, the risks that our watermen take to bring us economic prosperity and seafood, and really a good showing from our community in support for those watermen.
Thank you, Mr. Lusher. I agree with you.
No comment?
No comment.
No.
Yes.
I am very excited about Talbot Day.
Yep.
And I just want to thank Sarah and the staff, Jess, Karen, everyone that's involved in this, for bringing it all together, getting the community involved, and just excited for the community to come together and showcase, you know, various people in our community that's doing very good work that we appreciate on April 25th. So that's all I have.
And I'll jump on the same note. We've all been here. Staff's been here. Council's been here since around 2 o'clock.
Yes.
You know, we really appreciate your hard work. We've been working, all of us been working hard on the budget. We've been working hard on the budget for you, that's for sure. We're glad you were here tonight, that's for sure. We're going to do the best we can for you, I can tell you that. But, you know, it's hard work up here. It's hard on all of us up here. We got to make a lot of decisions. We got a pretty good sized budget this year. We're going to try to do what we can to, pacify everybody, but there are certain things that we have to do and certain things that maybe we have to push off a year or two. So I just really want to thank all your hard work, staff, for all you do. I wish Martha was here and her staff was here. We'll get a chance to thank her, but they put long hours in. So for me personally, Jess, I really appreciate everything you helped me and all that. And Sarah, you're doing such a great job putting out there on social media, which I'm not. I'm social, but it's not on the media. So. But anyway, and the last thing I want to do, and I really wasn't really going to bring it up, but I had a very unusual touch in my life that I had a friend of mine pass away a few days ago. It was my personal trainer for the last 14 years, and I can't stress enough the importance that his name was Jeremy Jones, and he touched my life for a lot of years. And Jeremy was struggling, okay, and we've been around people that have struggled, okay. He called me up Friday night and was distressed, and unfortunately he passed away the next day. So when somebody is a little bit in trouble and down at the bottom, do whatever you can for that person at the time to comfort them, tell them that things are going to be okay. Try to bring some positivity in their life because they're struggling. And this has happened to me a couple times with friends. That's why I try to sit up in this seat and be very, very positive to this community and show them what can happen to bring your life up. Everybody's been at the bottom. It's not fun, but by no means. But the alternative is not to hurt people. And when somebody takes their life like that, it really brings a lot of people in a bad situation, in bad hurt, in family, in a community. So anybody that's out there that is having a little bit of negativity in their life and really think there's nobody out there that could help, there's a lot of help for Talbot County. We have a lot of programs. Reach out to a friend, talk to them. I don't know what else to really do for people that are hurting other than, taking your life is not the answer. Because you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of family around you. And, when you have to think of your family, you have to think of really what you're going to cause. And to take your life, that's not the way to go. And whatever I can do to that, or if anybody's out there listening to me, which I hope they are, there's always hope. And this council has set up many programs for help. But the answer is not to take your life. So I hope that people are listening, and I just wish Jeremy would have listened to me because I was with him for 14 years. And when you have somebody call you one night and the next day it's not a good ending, you do beat yourself up a lot. You really do. But when somebody really wants to do that, there's really nothing you can do. And I wish I could have done something for him. And he just got married about a year ago. So, I'm kind of keep going on, but I just really want people to understand how important mental health is. Because mental health, if you don't have if you don't wake up in the morning and do whatever you need to do to move on in life and say a little prayer or whatever you need to do, please do it. Please do it, because the alternative is not to take your own life, because that's just something that shouldn't be done. So, being that said, I really appreciate you listening to me and let me get that out, and I'll leave it at that. So, Mr. Lesher, could you bring us home?
Chuck, I'm so sorry.
Yep, thank you.
It's the message from For All Seasons is no matter what, you matter.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that.
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, April 16th, beginning at 6:00 p.m., which has been declared a special legislative day. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to adjourn. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
All right.